On the news this evening, appeal court in Port Harcourt reserves ruling in application filed by former Rivers Governor Chibuike Amaechi orders to set aside bench warrant. Rivers State House of Assembly holds valedictory session in honor of Governor Wike. Governor Wike asked new police CP to ensure crime rate in Rivers State is reduced. One person fell dead in auto crash along Alakaya axis of East-West Road. Federal government declares work-free day on Monday. Nigeria Air arrives Abuja. On the foreign scene, U.S. sanctions boss of Russian mercenary group in Mali. I am Kalada Karubatabo. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. Good evening. An appeal court in Port Harcourt has reserved for ruling an application filed by former Rivers State Governor Chibuike Amaechi and others to set aside the order of bench warrant issued against them. Recall that a state high court in Port Harcourt had on the 17th of May issued a bench warrant on Mr. Amaechi, APC governorship candidate on Eko, former Commissioner for Energy Augustine Mokocha, and others who were standing trial over failure to appear before the court on criminal charges preferred against them by the state government. The three-man panel led by Justice Joseph Ikeg reserved ruling on the applications after the parties adopted their final written addresses. Corresponding to Mekotika reports that when the matter was mentioned in court today, lawyer to former Governor Chibuike Amaechi Akin Olujimi on the matter informed the court that his client had filed a motion before the court and that the ruling of Justice Chiwendu Nwogo of the State High Court is in disregard to the court. Mr. Olujimi later spoke to newsmen.
To let the court know that, look, we are both at the Court of Appeal and nothing shall happen until the appeal court has given its ruling. That is the meaning of it. So the proceedings, even when they have not made a formal order stopping the proceedings, they are saying the law is clear that we counsel are aware of what the law says and that there is a duty. That's why they now turned to counsel for the state. Are you going to go on when you are, he said, and they said no.
One of the lawyers to the Rivers State government, Alfonso Sibi, also spoke.
They went on appeal. They were asking that the order that was granted on the 17th of this month by the trial court, wherein he ordered for bench warrant and deferred all the applications to the end of the trial where judgment is to be given. They went to court to challenge that while their appeal has entered was when the court granted rules order disrespectful of the exalted position of the Court of Appeal that it is not proper for that to happen. We on our side said, see, the appeal that they brought before you for which they are contending that there is an appeal, there is no such appeal at all because the originating process is defective. It was not duly signed by any lawyer known to law.
Moving on, the Rivers State House of Assembly today held a special valedictory session in honor of Governor Nyesom Wike and his deputy Palibo Banigo Ari. The Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Kunyo Waji Bani, while eulogizing the achievements of the governor in the past 8 years, described him as one who allowed the lawmakers freedom to operate as legislators.
As apostles of this government's philosophy, we have done all that we ought to do to support government and achievement and successes recorded. Any prosperity that is not accompanied with freedom is not genuine, and there is no prosperity in freedom. But the prosperity recorded by the state and the people under Governor Nyesom Wike is one that is accompanied with freedom. People are at liberty to also dispense such prosperity that they have made under this government.
On their part, the lawmakers representing Ikwe constituency, Anselm Ogugwo, the lawmaker representing Okrika constituency, Linda Stewart, and other lawmakers spoke on how the governor has led the state in the past 8 years.
Mr. Speaker, the few times I work with the governor, I call him a wonderful man. He has good integrity. He's a master strategist. His charisma is second to none. No-nonsense defender of Igbo State. I'm very prudent in managing the public fund. Mr. Speaker, I want to say governor. He has taken a very big impact on my local government. He has the first in the history where a greater 112 has an internal road. He gave Omaba internal road. He gave Ele internal road.
Rivers State is very fortunate to have a leader like Nyesom Wike at this critical time in its history. He has positioned the state significant. He has set new standards for measuring performance in office. Wike has given the Rivers man and woman an added gait, sense of pride, and a license to demand very loudly if necessary. Henceforth, no governor in the state can dare go below the bar he has set.
Correspondent Soibi Oruware reports that the House adjourned plenary to 2nd of June to end the 9th Assembly. In another development, Governor Nyesom Wike has called on the new Commissioner of Police, CP Emeka Wonyi, to ensure that the crime rate in Rivers State is reduced. Governor Wike made a call during the commissioning of Nigerian Police Tactical Center, Rumi Prikam, in Obiakpor local government area. He said governments at all levels are expected to fight crime in their domain. He also pushed for better funding for the police, saying the force will do better when they are well funded.
The police is under the federal government does not mean that you are not going to fight insecurity. And that's why they call you the chief security officers of your local government and of the states. So the essence of governance is protection of life and property. If you're a governor, if you're a chairman of council, if you're a president, and you cannot protect life and property of citizens, then you have no business to talk about governance.
On his part, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali-Baba, is advocating for the provision of adequate logistics for security agencies to fight crime in the country. He called for collaboration in the fight against crime and criminality.
Crime prevention and control has been the provision of necessary tools for policemen to work. You don't need to carry pickup with policemen and go the entire length and breadth of Rivers State for you to know what is happening. With tools such as this, with tools such as the one we have commissioned earlier, you can patrol Rivers State in the comfort of this building. You can track, you can detect, you can follow everything in the comfort of this building. And that is what we are working towards. Rivers is faster than the Nigeria Police Force. We are working towards e-policing.
The IGP also called for the collaboration of everyone in the fight against crime and criminality.
And I also want to encourage others that crime prevention and control, like His Excellency said, is the duty of everybody. It is not the duty of the federal government or the state or the local government alone. Even everybody here has a way and means of contribution to crime prevention and control. It is something that we have to live with. Wherever there are people, there must be rules and regulations guiding the existence of a particular society or community. And therefore, the issue of maintenance of law and order is everybody's business. And that is why we try as much as possible to even define and also inculcate in our communities the spirit of community policing. Everybody should be a police officer.
He also promised to provide more logistics to the police tactical operations units.
Our tactical units are developed and conceived, or their existence are developed and conceived because of changing situations. And all this anti-cultist, anti-crime, anti-kidnapping goes to check what is not acceptable in the society. And therefore, it is my belief that the state government has done us well. It has assisted us in making our job easy. We at the force headquarters level will also support the state government. I want to pledge that I will support this tactical operation unit with an armored personnel carrier, 2 gun trucks made of pickup, and I will also give arms and ammunition dedicated to this place.
Earlier, the immediate past Commissioner of Police in Rivers State, Okun Effiong, said the contribution of Governor Wike to the police command has made the state to be ranked the lowest on daily, weekly, and monthly crime index in the South-South region. One person is now feared dead following an accident involving 2 Toyota Sienna vehicles. The accident happened between Alakaya Junction and First Mechanic Bus Stop along the East-West Road, Port Harcourt. Brother to the accident victim said his brother was on the median of the road when one of the vehicles lost control.
Most people, they speed over speed, when they jam my brother for road. They don't even stop, they don't leave my brother. My brother come, they die now. We don't carry and go inside if it is church, but my brother come, they die now. So one man government enter this matter, because if you government not enter, we go block this road. We go lock up. because of my brother. All of them they overspeed. That is why we no agree. We no go agree.
Drivers of the vehicles escaped from the scene to avoid being mobbed by friends and family members of the victim. Our correspondent reports that as at the time of filing this report, police arrived at the scene to control traffic building up along the road. In other news, ahead of Monday's presidential inauguration, the FCT Police Command has deployed human and material resources across the nooks and crannies of the Federal Capital Territory to ensure a safe and peaceful inauguration. A statement by Command spokesperson SP Josephine Ade said the deployment consists of all intelligence and tactical assets at the command's disposal. It also said interagency collaboration will ensure a peaceful atmosphere during the inauguration and to avert any form of threat on the nation's democratic process. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari today received an asset declaration form from the Code of Conduct Bureau at the State House. The form was presented to the President inside the presidential villa by the chairman of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Muhammad Isa, who led other members of the Bureau to his office. This is in compliance with the provision of the Constitution, which stipulates that all public officers shall declare their assets and liabilities on the assumption of office and at the end of their tenure of office. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, has called on Nigerians to cooperate with the soon-to-be inaugurated leaders to enable them to transform the country for good. He said this at the 2023 Presidential Inauguration Public Lecture at the National Mosque, Abuja today. On his part, the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima says the incoming administration may not be off to a rosy start. Mr. Shettima and the President-elect Bola Tinubu are expected to be sworn in on Monday, signaling the end of the administration of outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari after the completion of 2 4-year terms. The federal government has declared Monday, 29th May, as work-free for all workers in the country. Minister of Interior, in a statement signed by its Permanent Secretary Shaib Belga, said the decision is to allow Nigerians to commemorate the inauguration of the nation's 16th democratically elected president. The PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar says the Supreme Court's dismissal of the case of the PDP against Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima is not a setback to his quest for justice. Mr. Atiku, who said this today on his official Twitter page, said the party's legal team will robustly prove that the election of February 25 did not comply with the constitutional requirements and the electoral guidelines of INEC. Earlier today, the Supreme Court dismissed the suit by the PDP challenging the alleged double nomination of the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima. Still ahead, Nigeria Air arrives Abuja. Stay tuned as we go for a quick commercial break.
You are tuned in to
The Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG) is handed over to River State University Teaching Hospital, a furnished infectious disease unit. The External Relations and Sustainable Development of NLNG and the ODE, during a brief handover ceremony, said The construction of the medical facility is the company's hospital support project intended to address some of the demands in the health sector.
Our support to the River State government yielded the opportunity for us to focus on an infectious diseases unit in the 6 geopolitical zones. So far, we phased it into 2. We've delivered 6 of such interventions in 6 teaching hospitals in Nigeria. But for us, this is very remarkable in the sense that we're in River State. River State is our host state, and whatever we do in this state directly impacts how we're seen, how we're viewed, and of course, on the long term, it supports healthcare delivery, not just in River State, but in the Niger Delta area. So,
on his part, the Chief Medical Director of River State University Teaching Hospital, Friday Aaron, assured the company that the infectious disease unit will be utilized for the paramount interest of the public.
Management has directed the Medical Advisory Committee of the hospital to review the governance that has been proposed and also the standard operating procedure that have been proposed for the sustainable running of the ID. So, as we twist, to ask the LNG, having seen a formidable partner in us, to complete those ones which were not added because of the limit of the envelope. An infectious disease ambulance, the gas manifold, other furnitures, but we need a BSL-4 to be able to test for Lassa fever, Ebola, and other infectious diseases. And we think that Rivers State deserves a referral center in terms of testing.
Also, the immediate past Commissioner of Health in the state, Principal Chike, while opening the unit, called on NLNG to expand their support project to involve the welfare of medical practitioners.
Emergency Operations Center of COVID came to Bonny, and we had a center there, even a hospital and a unit. Thank you for all the support you give.
We will have our personnel here. We have people who are in training. If you can introduce how you can encourage the welfare of medical personnel, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, lab scientists, and other allied who are going to work here. The state government, the people will be very happy with what you are doing. We thank you for this. We will continue to say thank you any day of the day.
Correspondent Soibi Oruwari reports that some management senior staff of NLNG, River State Ministry of Health, and leadership of NMA, led by A.B. Robinson, among others, attended the brief handover ceremony of the infectious disease unit. The long-awaited Nigeria airplane has finally arrived in Abuja, putting an end to speculation surrounding its whereabouts. The Minister of Aviation, Senator Adi Sirika, announced the arrival of 2 aircrafts today. The aircraft, which was recently sported at Addis Ababa Bole International Airport in Ethiopia, successfully landed at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. The arrival of the Nigeria airplane has generated excitement among aviation enthusiasts and some Nigerians. In business, founder Dangote Industries Limited, Aliko Dangote, says the newly commissioned refinery will save the country huge forex that would have been used for fuel importation. Mr. Dangote said this when President Muhammadu Buhari commissioned the 650,000 barrels per day Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemical Complex located at the Lekki Free Zone in Lagos State. He said the refinery will employ over 100,000 Nigerian youths as well as generate over $21 billion. He said the commissioning has marked the beginning of a new journey of self-sufficiency in refined petroleum products. On his part, President Muhammadu Buhari described the refinery as a milestone for the Nigerian economy and a game-changer for the downstream petroleum market in the African continent. As you may know, the refinery is expected to meet 100% of the Nigerian requirement for all refined products and have a surplus of each of these products for export. It is designed to process Nigerian crude with the ability to also process other crudes. The refinery will produce Euro V quality gasoline and diesel, as well as jet fuel and polypropylene. In entertainment, Canadian singer Celine Dion has cancelled all remaining live shows, telling fans she's not strong enough to tour after being diagnosed with a rare neurological disorder. In sports, British Cycling is to ban transgender women from the female category of its competitions following a 9-month review and consultation. It said such athletes will compete in an open category with men.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
On the foreign scene, the U.S. has announced sanctions on the local boss of the Wagner private military group in Mali, Ivan Maslov. Mr. Maslov is seen as a key figure in Wagner, working with Malian officials to build Wagner's presence. The U.S. said the Russian mercenary group could be secretly trying to obtain military equipment for the war in Ukraine through its operations in Mali and other African countries. The group has been providing Mali's military government with assistance in the fight against Islamist insurgents. On the news this evening, you heard an appeal court in Port Harcourt has reserved ruling in an application filed by former Rivers Governor Chibuike Amechi orders to set aside bench warrant issued against them. Rivers State House of Assembly today held a valedictory session in honor of Governor Wike and his deputy Palibol Aribanigo. Governor Wike has asked the new police CP to ensure crime rate in Rivers State is reduced. One person is now feared dead after an auto crash along Alakaya axis of East-West Road. The federal government has declared Monday as work-free day. Nigeria Air has arrived Abuja. On the foreign scene, U.S. has sanctioned the boss of Russian mercenary group in Mali. The news was edited by Martha Okere in Kem. Mostly cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this evening. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Kalada Kurubatbo. Good evening. Conversations continue after the break. Do stay tuned.